Listen, everybody, every night before I close my eyes, I pause, not out of habit, not out of ritual, but out of purpose. You see, the choices we make in these small, quiet moments, the ones nobody else sees, are the ones that quietly shape our health, our energy, and even our life. People often underestimate the power of the night. They think that what we do in the morning or during the day defines our energy, our success, or even our happiness. But in reality, the body works tirelessly while we sleep. Our nerves repair, our muscles recover, and our cells regenerate. And the fuel we give ourselves right before sleep can either help this process or quietly sabotage it without us realizing. When I look at food before bed, I don't just see calories or taste, I see opportunity. Every bite is a choice between harm or help, between stress or restoration. The brain does not take a vacation at night. The body does not pause. It's still processing, repairing, and recalibrating. If we load it with sugar, heavy fats, or empty carbs, we are telling it to work extra, to fight an invisible battle, and to slow down in the very moments it should be thriving. But when we feed it wisely, we set the stage for a morning where energy flows, focus sharpens, and resilience grows. This is why the late night snack isn't just a habit. It's a statement about how we respect ourselves, how we treat our body, and how we value our future. I start with simplicity. Nature often gives us the best solutions if we're willing to pay attention. A handful of nuts, maybe almonds or walnuts, can do more for the nervous system than a dozen sugary treats ever could. They are dense in nutrients that our brain and body crave during sleep: magnesium, protein, healthy fats. These small powerhouses signal to our system that it is time to repair, not to stress. Pair them with a small piece of fruit, something that is slow to digest, and you have a combination that doesn't spike insulin or force your body to burn extra energy processing. It's calm, deliberate, restorative. This is not about deprivation, it's about optimizing. Hydration matters too, far more than most people realize, but not in overwhelming amounts, because we don't want to disrupt sleep with a middle-of-the-night trip to the bathroom. A small glass of water, sometimes infused with a hint of lemon, signals to the kidneys and liver that detoxification continues, that circulation stays smooth, and that the body can focus on rebuilding instead of reacting. These choices may seem insignificant in isolation, but layered over weeks, months, and years, they compound into an energy level and clarity that is almost effortless. Sleep and nutrition are inseparable partners. One cannot truly repair without the other. That is why before bed, I avoid caffeine, alcohol, heavy starches, and sugar. Each of these, though tempting, interrupts the subtle signaling of our hormones. Cortisol spikes, insulin surges, and suddenly the body is awake in a state it should not be. Our dreams are altered, our nervous system strained, our memory consolidation affected. In contrast, a protein-rich, nutrient-dense mini-meal allows serotonin and melatonin to flow naturally. The nervous system calms, muscles regenerate, cells repair. This is the invisible work that no one applauds, yet it quietly fuels our productivity, resilience, and mood the next day. It's not just what we eat, but how we eat it. The pace, the mindfulness, the gratitude all matter. Eating while distracted, scrolling through phones, or multitasking sends signals to the brain that we are under stress. Eating slowly, appreciating each bite, and recognizing that this is medicine we administer to ourselves. This transforms a simple habit into a powerful act of self-respect. And it's not just physical recovery we're talking about. Mental resilience is built here in the quiet hours of the night. A body that is nourished and calm creates a mind that is calm and clear. Worries shrink, anxiety eases, and the subconscious begins to align with our conscious goals. The foods we choose before sleep can actually help the brain manage stress hormones more effectively, balance neurotransmitters, and set a foundation for emotional stability. This isn't magic, it's biology, but it feels magical when you experience it consistently. Sometimes the most radical act of self-care is simply being intentional. Most people underestimate the ripple effect of small, deliberate choices. One small handful of almonds, one glass of water, one slow bite of fruit can create energy, clarity, and resilience that the world notices in ways we cannot measure. It's not about perfection, it's about commitment. Every night, when I pause to nourish my body before sleep, I am quietly investing in tomorrow's success. I am telling my nervous system that I care, that I honor it, that I'm willing to put in the work that nobody else sees. Over time, these small choices accumulate into something monumental. A person who consistently fuels their body intelligently before sleep has sharper focus, more balanced moods, better decision making, and stronger immunity. They may not see the benefits immediately, but the body remembers. It remembers the small acts of respect, the tiny choices that whisper, I am worthy of repair, I am worthy of growth, I am worthy of energy. And this extends beyond sleep. The discipline you build by choosing wisely at night spills over into every other moment of life. Your mornings become productive, your afternoons are energized, your evenings are intentional, and you start to realize that consistency, care, and self-respect are not abstract ideas. They are built one small choice at a time. We often overlook the quiet, invisible battles our bodies fight at night. But if we can win those battles, if we can give our body the fuel it deserves, we can transform not only our sleep, but our life. Every night presents a choice, convenience or care, habits or intention. Every night, in those few minutes before rest, you can decide whether to sabotage your tomorrow or to prepare for it with quiet power. This is why I am deliberate. This is why I pause. This is why the choices we make before sleep are more than habits. They are statements about who we are and who we intend to become. And while most people sleep through this opportunity, those who recognize it, those who harness it quietly gain an edge that compounds in ways they cannot immediately see. Choice after choice, energy, clarity, resilience, and health accumulate silently but powerfully. It is simple, yet profound. It is small, yet monumental. It is often ignored, yet transformative. The act of eating wisely before sleep is more than nutrition. It is a declaration of self-worth. It is a commitment to tomorrow. It is a moment where we honor our body, mind, and future all at once. And if we choose to take that moment seriously, everything else begins to fall into place with far less struggle than we imagined. Every night, as the world slows down and the lights dim, most people think that sleep is simply a pause, a break from action. But the truth is far more remarkable. Sleep is a period of intense activity for the body and mind, a time when systems repair, neurons reset, and energy is restored for the challenges of tomorrow. And yet, how many of us pause to consider what we put into our body just before this critical period? The food we consume before sleep is not merely fuel, it is the blueprint for how our body and mind regenerate. If we load ourselves with heavy, processed, or sugary foods, we are unintentionally telling our system to work against itself, to expend energy where it should be recovering, and to create a tomorrow that begins in imbalance rather than strength. Those few bites at night, often taken without thought, can set off a cascade of effects that ripple into energy levels, focus, and emotional stability the next day. It is in these quiet, unseen moments that the foundation for health is either strengthened or undermined. When we choose wisely, the impact is profound. Nutrient-dense foods, rich in protein, healthy fats, and essential minerals serve as silent allies in the night. Almonds, walnuts, or even a small portion of yogurt may seem insignificant, yet they carry the power to calm the nervous system, regulate blood sugar, and support cellular repair. These foods provide the raw materials that the body needs to rebuild tissues, restore neurotransmitters, and optimize hormone production while we sleep. Sleep is a form of invisible work, and proper nutrition at night ensures that the work is efficient, effective, and lasting. Without this deliberate choice, even the best day can be undone by poor nighttime habits, leaving the mind foggy, energy low, and motivation harder to summon. Hydration is another critical aspect that often goes unnoticed. The body relies on precise water balance to support digestion, circulation, and detoxification during rest. A modest glass of water before bed signals the kidneys and liver to continue their cleansing work without overloading the system. It is a subtle act, yet one that reinforces the body's natural processes, allowing sleep to serve its purpose fully. Over time, these small, intentional actions accumulate, creating a pattern of physical resilience that becomes a cornerstone of daily performance. A person who drinks properly, nourishes thoughtfully, and respects these nightly moments will notice not just immediate effects on energy, but a compounding improvement in overall vitality, mood, and cognitive function. Caffeine, sugar, and heavy carbohydrates are common saboteurs. They interrupt the delicate hormonal signaling that guides sleep cycles, cortisol levels, and insulin regulation. Even a small indulgence can elevate stress hormones or spike blood sugar, forcing the body into a state of alertness when it should be transitioning into repair. The result is often restless sleep, fatigue the following day, and a subtle erosion of mental clarity. By contrast, a carefully chosen pre-bedtime snack encourages the production of serotonin and melatonin, hormones that guide relaxation and restorative sleep. This is why the right foods can feel almost medicinal, not in the pharmaceutical sense, but in their capacity to optimize the body's natural regenerative processes. It is not only the composition of food that matters, but also the timing and mindfulness of consumption. Eating in a rushed or distracted state triggers a stress response, signaling the body to process food as if under duress. Scrolling through a phone or working while eating late at night communicates to the nervous system that it must remain alert, interfering with the restorative benefits of rest. Choosing to eat slowly, with intention and with awareness, transforms a simple act into a profound intervention for health. It becomes an expression of care, a declaration to the body that its repair is important, its work is respected, and its future performance is valued. The consequences of ignoring these nighttime choices are subtle but accumulative. A restless night may not feel catastrophic in isolation, but night after night, poor choices compound into fatigue, weakened immunity, and diminished cognitive performance. Energy levels fluctuate unpredictably, focus wanes, and the body struggles to recover from the daily demands placed upon it. Over weeks and months, the ripple effect extends far beyond sleep itself, touching every aspect of life. Decisions become harder, stress feels more pronounced, and the margin for error narrows. Conversely, when the body is given what it needs, it responds in kind. Energy stabilizes, mental clarity sharpens, and resilience grows, not as a fleeting effect, but as a sustained pattern reinforced by consistent nightly habits. Nighttime nutrition is also deeply tied to mental and emotional performance. The brain does not stop working when we sleep. Synaptic pruning, memory consolidation, and emotional regulation all continue in the background, and the fuel we provide can either support or hinder these processes. Healthy fats, proteins, and low glycemic fruits help stabilize neurotransmitters, allowing the mind to process stress, regulate emotions, and prepare for cognitive tasks the next day. In this sense, eating before bed is not merely a physical act, it is an investment in mental resilience and emotional stability. Consistency is key. One night of poor choices may not be disastrous, but regular mindful nutrition before sleep creates a feedback loop that transforms performance, health, and even confidence. Each night becomes a chance to reinforce the body's natural rhythms, to honor the unseen processes that sustain life, and to step into tomorrow with energy and focus that feels almost effortless. It is a small window of control in a world that often feels chaotic, and it is one that can yield profound rewards when respected. By acknowledging the power of these quiet moments, we reclaim agency over our own health. We shift from passive consumers of food to active participants in our body's restoration. Every choice we make before sleep is a statement about how much we value our energy, our celerity, and our capacity to thrive. Nighttime nutrition is not trivial. It is a cornerstone of a life that is energetic, focused, and resilient. Those who understand and embrace this practice gain a subtle advantage, one that accumulates invisibly but powerfully, quietly transforming sleep into a tool for lifelong vitality and well-being. Every action we take before sleep is more than a habit. It is a reflection of how much we respect ourselves and how much discipline we are willing to cultivate. Mindful nutrition before bed is not just about feeding the body, it is a demonstration of self-respect and intentionality. It is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to practice discipline without forcing yourself into struggle. Discipline is not an abstract concept reserved for the few. It is built quietly, consistently, in small acts that most people overlook. Choosing what to eat before bed, eating it slowly, and paying attention to the signals your body sends is one of these acts. Every bite is a message to yourself that your health, energy, and well-being matter. When we eat mindfully, we begin to notice patterns. We observe how certain foods make us restless, how sugar or caffeine before bed leaves us anxious, and how nutrient-dense foods make sleep feel deeper, more restorative, and more aligned with our natural rhythms. Awareness alone transforms eating into an act of discipline. By choosing to listen to the body instead of reacting impulsively to cravings or convenience, we create a bridge between intention and action. This bridge is where self-respect grows. Each time we choose a handful of almonds over a sugary snack, a glass of water over soda, or slow digestion, Over-rushed consumption, we are reinforcing a subtle but profound principle. Our future energy is worth the small effort we exert in the present moment. Discipline at night does not require grand gestures. It is not about forcing ourselves to eat perfectly or creating elaborate routines that become unsustainable. It is about small, consistent choices repeated night after night. The real challenge is not in the complexity, but in the consistency. Consistency signals to the nervous system that the body can rely on us. It builds trust within ourselves, the trust that we will not sabotage our own progress, that we will respect our needs even when nobody else is watching. This trust is the foundation of self-discipline because it is built quietly, internally, and without the need for external validation. It is personal, sacred, and transformative. Eating before bed in a mindful way also cultivates patience. In a world dominated by instant gratification, the act of slowing down to eat consciously trains the mind to delay impulses, to prioritize long-term benefits over short-term pleasure. This training is transferable. The patience developed at night spills over into work, relationships, and daily decision-making. When we practice restraint and intention in something as simple as a late-night snack, we are in essence exercising the same muscles that govern self-control in every other part of our lives. This is how small habits accumulate into monumental personal growth. Mindful nutrition before sleep is also a direct communication with the subconscious mind. Our subconscious observes patterns, remembers signals, and reacts to routines in ways that consciously we often cannot perceive. By consistently choosing foods that support restoration rather than disruption, we are creating a positive feedback loop. The body anticipates and trusts the process of recovery, and the mind internalizes the notion that self-care is non-negotiable. Over time, this becomes automatic. We begin to crave the habits that fuel us instead of those that drain us. This is the true essence of discipline, the alignment of conscious choice with subconscious reinforcement. Moreover, the act of feeding ourselves intentionally fosters gratitude. Recognizing that each meal is an opportunity to nourish rather than merely fill a void transforms the relationship we have with food and with our body. Gratitude is a subtle but powerful motivator. When we appreciate the effect of our choices on our health and energy, discipline no longer feels like obligation, it feels like empowerment. Every conscious bite reinforces the idea that we are capable of making decisions that align with our highest self. This sense of empowerment strengthens self-respect and cultivates a mindset where discipline is not punishment but a form of care. The ripple effect of mindful nighttime nutrition extends beyond the immediate benefits of better sleep. Over weeks and months, the consistent act of making deliberate choices strengthens identity. We begin to see ourselves as disciplined, intentional, and capable of honoring commitments to ourselves. This identity is far more enduring than motivation, which comes and goes like waves. Motivation is temporary, identity is persistent. By practicing small acts of discipline in a low-pressure environment like nighttime nutrition, we gradually reshape how we perceive ourselves and what we believe is possible. Each night becomes a rehearsal, a quiet but powerful reminder that we are capable of honoring our own needs and intentions. It is in these moments when the world is quiet and our attention is focused inward that true self-respect is cultivated. We are not performing for anyone else, and there is no external reward. The only reward is the trust we build in ourselves, the reinforcement of our ability to make choices aligned with our well-being, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing that we are preparing ourselves for tomorrow. This preparation is both physical and mental. The body thrives on proper fuel, while the mind thrives on the trust and confidence that comes from consistent, deliberate action. Discipline, self-respect, and mindful nutrition are inseparable. They reinforce one another in a cycle that grows stronger with repetition. The more we honor our body and our health, the easier it becomes to honor other aspects of life. The small act of choosing a healthy pre-bedtime snack or sipping water mindfully strengthens the internal narrative that we are capable of consistency, capable of patience, and capable of self-care. This narrative, repeated night after night, becomes a central thread in our identity, one that guides decisions, shapes habits, and builds resilience in ways that are invisible yet undeniable. Through mindful nighttime eating, we learn that discipline does not require grand sacrifices or heroic effort. It requires presence, awareness, and intention. Every decision, no matter how small, carries weight. Every choice communicates values to ourselves and reinforces identity. This understanding transforms routine acts of self-care into powerful exercises in self-discipline, creating a foundation for lasting personal growth, resilience, and unwavering self-respect. Every small action we take, every quiet choice we make has the potential to compound into something far greater than we imagine. Life rarely changes in dramatic, immediate bursts. It changes in the accumulation of repeated decisions, the subtle reinforcement of habits, and the consistent honoring of our intentions. This is the principle of compounding in personal growth. The act of making deliberate choices before sleep, what we eat, how we hydrate, how we respect our body, might seem insignificant in isolation. A handful of nuts, a slow sip of water, a few minutes of mindfulness before bed might feel trivial when compared to the vastness of life's challenges. Yet these small actions accumulate invisibly, layer upon layer, until they create momentum, structure, and resilience that become undeniable. The ripple effect of small intentional acts grows quietly, shaping energy, mindset, and identity in ways that are both subtle and profound. When we understand that life-changing habits are built through consistency rather than grand gestures, we start to recognize the power of compounding in our own lives. Just as investing small amounts of money regularly grows into wealth over time, investing small, deliberate choices in health, discipline, and self-respect compounds into a life of energy, focus, and clarity. Each night becomes a micro-investment in the quality of tomorrow. Each mindful snack, each intentional act of self-care builds a foundation upon which resilience, productivity, and well-being thrive. We begin to see that there are no shortcuts, no quick fixes. What we often call luck or talent is in reality the result of unseen, consistent effort compounded over time. Small habits repeated with purpose create identity. They tell the mind and the body who we are and what we are capable of. When we consistently make choices aligned with self-care and discipline, we begin to internalize a narrative. We are people who keep promises to ourselves, people who value our energy, people who respect our potential. Identity is the most powerful driver of behavior because it dictates action automatically. When these small acts compound into identity, motivation is no longer required. Discipline becomes effortless because it is embedded in the person we see ourselves as. One night of intentional nutrition, mindfulness, or hydration may not transform life, but repeated over weeks and months, these choices redefine who we are and what we can achieve. The compounding effect extends beyond physical health. Emotional stability, mental clarity, and resilience also grow silently through these small, consistent choices. Every time we honor our body and mind, we reinforce the belief that we can meet challenges, recover from setbacks, and act intentionally in our lives. This invisible growth creates confidence and strength that manifest outwardly. We begin to notice that decisions come more easily, focus sharpens, and stress feels manageable. The seemingly small decisions before sleep, choices about food, hydration, and routine, shape the internal environment that governs all other areas of life. One of the most powerful aspects of compounding is that it works both for us and against us. If we repeatedly make careless, reactive, or unconscious choices, we compound weakness, fatigue, and inconsistency. A sugary snack, a mindless scroll on the phone, ignoring hydration repeated over time creates energy deficits, emotional volatility, and weakens self-trust. Most people fail to see this because the effects are gradual, almost imperceptible, yet cumulative. The same principle that allows small acts of discipline to create strength also allows small acts of neglect to create weakness. Understanding this dual nature gives us power. It reminds us that consistency is the true multiplier of life outcomes and that every decision, no matter how small, has weight. This principle is especially critical in personal growth because it highlights the importance of beginning with what is accessible, immediate, and manageable. Change does not require perfection. It requires repetition. One consistent small action each day, applied at night before rest, creates momentum. Momentum fuels motivation. Motivation sustains further effort. The cycle continues until progress accelerates and what was once effortful becomes instinctual. This is the essence of compounding and personal transformation. The smallest, most consistent actions eventually produce results that feel exponential, even miraculous because they were built invisibly over time. The ripple effect of compounding extends beyond ourselves. Our habits, consistency, and self-respect influence our interactions, relationships, and leadership. People notice energy, focus, and calm confidence even if they do not understand the source. Our disciplined routines set an example for others, demonstrating that success is not about grand gestures, but about consistent mindful actions that honor our potential. What starts as a simple choice to respect our body and mind before sleep expands outward into every domain of life, silently shaping influence, leadership, and opportunity. Understanding compounding also teaches patience. Results do not always appear immediately, and progress may seem slow, but if we persist, trust the process, and honor the small actions, the effects are inevitable. Night after night, choice after choice, the body, mind, and spirit adapt, grow stronger, and become more resilient. Over time, we realize that small, consistent habits are more powerful than sporadic bursts of effort. They create not only physical energy, but also a mental and emotional foundation that allows us to meet life's challenges with calm, focus, and clarity. Compounding reminds us that greatness is rarely instantaneous. It is constructed incrementally through repetition and intention. Each small act we take before rest, each deliberate choice to honor our body, mind, and future adds a layer of strength. This strength accumulates silently, often unnoticed, until it emerges as resilience, focus, and vitality. What may seem trivial, choosing water over soda, a handful of nuts over chips, quiet reflection over distraction, can become the cornerstone of extraordinary transformation over time. By embracing the principle of compounding, we reclaim control over our lives. We understand that our future is not determined by a single day, a single choice, or a single moment of motivation. It is determined by the accumulation of small, intentional decisions that align with our goals, values, and self-respect. Compounding is both a challenge and an opportunity. It is a call to mindfulness, consistency, and patience. And those who master it quietly, persistently, and intentionally gain a life shaped by energy, focus, resilience, and undeniable progress. Every choice we make, every habit we nurture, and every promise we keep to ourselves compounds quietly, shaping the life we live and the energy we carry. The small, deliberate decisions we make before rest, what we eat, how we hydrate, and how we respect our body and mind are not trivial. They are the foundation of health, focus, and resilience. Nighttime is not merely a pause from life, it is a laboratory where the body repairs, the mind resets, and the spirit strengthens. By honoring these moments with intention, we lay the groundwork for consistent energy, mental clarity, and unwavering self-discipline. When we approach our choices with mindfulness, we are not only feeding the body, we are cultivating self-respect, discipline, and trust in ourselves. Each conscious action, no matter how small, reinforces our identity as someone who honors their commitments, someone who prioritizes growth over convenience, and someone who understands that greatness is built quietly, habit by habit. The compounding power of these small decisions transforms the ordinary into extraordinary, showing us that life's success is less about luck and more about consistency, awareness, and deliberate action. This is the essence of personal transformation, small choices repeated with purpose that accumulate over time to create unstoppable momentum. It is in these unseen, quiet moments that character is forged, energy is preserved, and resilience is cultivated. What begins as a simple act of care, drinking water, eating a nutrient-rich snack, pausing to be mindful, grows into a pattern that defines our days, shapes our mindset, and influences every interaction, decision, and challenge we face. The person we are becoming is reflected in these small, intentional choices, and the life we desire is built silently, one deliberate action at a time. The truth is simple, yet profound. Your future, your energy, and your resilience are not determined by extraordinary circumstances or bursts of motivation. They are determined by the small, consistent choices you make when no one is watching. By embracing the power of these quiet moments, respecting your body, and nourishing yourself thoughtfully, you gain control over your energy, your focus, and your potential. Every night is an opportunity to invest in yourself, to honor your body and mind, and to lay the foundation for a life defined by clarity, discipline, and unstoppable growth. Start tonight. Make the choice. Honor your body, nurture your mind, and invest in your future. The small, deliberate actions you take now will compound into the energy, clarity, and resilience you have always wanted. And the life you are capable of living begins with the choices you make in these quiet, unseen moments. Your future is built one deliberate choice at a time, and tonight is where it begins.